Welcome back to another video, guys. This video I would like to describe as a sequel to the previous video I posted a few days ago. And in that previous video we talked about the recent political happenings in the West African sub-region, the most recent being in Niger Republic, where a coup d'etat happened and the democratic government was unsacked by the military junta. So this video I'm going to bring you updates as far as this story is concerned. So welcome back to the channel. I'm Virtue Grace, the African storyteller. If you're coming by for the first time and you've not subscribed, what's the matter? Kindly click on that subscribe button, and when you do, tap on the bell and select all. That way you will always be the first to know when I post a new video or I do a live stream. And for those of you returning, thank you so much, my bread loves, for coming back. I love you guys so much. Okay, now let's get into the story. So a few days ago, a coup d'etat happened in the Republic of Niger, or Niger Republic if you like, and the military took over leadership, thereby putting an end to the democratic regime that was in place at the time. Right, so following this development, Niger being a country in West Africa, it is also a member of Ecowas, which is the Economic Community of West African States, the West African Regional Bloc. And in response to that coup action, the ECOWAS had a meeting and gave an ultimatum to the Nigerian junta, not Nigeria, now Nigerian junta, to restore democracy, I think within 7 days. Otherwise, there's going to be military intervention in the country. So one thing we need to understand here is when the coup happened, Nigerians took to the streets praising the military junta for what they had done. They were basically in support of the coup. But for ECOWAS, according to them, that was a clog in the wheel of democracy and the need to restore back democracy. So they urged the junta to restore democracy or risk military interventions. Nigerians, on the other hand, are in support of the military action, and those who were able to speak with the media have said Nigeria should stay away from their affairs. ECOWAS should stay away from their affairs because they have the right to determine the sort of leadership they want and to determine their own fate by themselves as a sovereign nation.
I would like to say to the European Union, the African Union and ECOWAS, please stay out of our business.
That is understandable because every nation is sovereign and they have the right to determine their fate, their destiny, however they please. But that is not what ECOWAS is after. ECOWAS wants a restoration of democracy in Niger. Now, when we talk about ECOWAS, what comes to mind oftentimes is Nigeria, just because Nigeria being the biggest player in ECOWAS in terms of funding, Nigeria provides the highest percentage of funding for ECOWAS, and the ECOWAS Secretariat is actually situated in Nigeria. So oftentimes when ECOWAS is mentioned, Nigeria comes foremost. And the Nigerian president, being the chairman of the ECOWAS, has issued that ultimatum and is threatening military actions. Nigerians are saying, Nigeria, stay out of our business. ECOWAS, stay out of our business. But with all of this forth and back happening between Nigerians and ECOWAS and the political turmoil, there are very important things that we need to consider as citizens of ECOWAS, and especially as citizens of Nigeria and Niger. Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso have come forward. Coup d'etats also happened in these three countries and now are being ruled by the military. Okay, so these three countries have come forward to say if ECOWAS dares invade Niger, then they are going to provide military support to Niger to withstand the ECOWAS. Like I said in the previous video, in case I've not mentioned it here, Nigeria shares international borders with Niger in the northern part of Nigeria, and that border is like the largest international land border that Nigeria has with any country. And given that closeness, there are some Nigerians who have relatives in Niger and vice versa. Okay, there's been centuries of intermarriages, intertrade, and intermingling between northern Nigerians who are close to the border between Nigeria and Niger, and Nigerians who are also close to the border with Nigeria. So there has been centuries of intermingling, intermarrying, and all of that. And both have relatives across borders. Now, if Nigeria or ECOWAS, if you like, takes military actions in Niger, that is going to have huge socioeconomic and political implications on Nigeria and Nigerians. And this is almost going to be like Nigeria fighting Niger because, of course, with the closeness and the international border and even human interactions and close ties, there's going to be a spillover between the northern part of Nigeria and the southern part of Niger that shares borders. And this is going to pose a huge socio-economic and political implications on Nigerians and Nigerians. I'm not really sure if what we want as citizens of both countries now is any form of conflict or any form of political or military turmoil that might result in unprecedented socioeconomic political implications that might have long lasting impacts on citizens of both countries. I sincerely think, and just like many other Nigerians and Nigerians who have been weighing in on this, I feel like peaceful negotiations and dialogues are would be a better alternative to military interventions, like just like Nigerians have said, and is an internationally guaranteed right that countries are sovereign and have the right to self-determination, right to self-leadership, and also if the coup has happened and Nigerians are out supporting it, then that might be, we're assuming that might be an indication that that is what they want. But regardless of what positions, both sides, and I mean Niger and ECOWAS hold, dialogue, peaceful negotiations, peace talks, I believe would be a better alternative to resolve the issues and make sure that, a positive way is forged forward without, impacting negatively on citizens of both countries. Okay, let's not even talk about issues of internally displaced persons or refugees in the case of war or armed conflicts when people have to flee their homes and run to other parts of the region where they have to face some unprecedented challenges, and it has huge impacts on women, on children, and all of that. We do not want any more of that. We want to see a stabilized region, which is West Africa and Africa as a whole. So peaceful negotiations we believe would be better options. And are we even going to forget the fact that in terms of military interventions or conflict, there's usually proliferations of arms in the hands of the wrong people, so that also leads to prolonged unprecedented security threats to the region, and we do not want that. I believe that the last thing ECOWAS would want in the sub-region now is proliferation of arms in the hands of the wrong people at this point, not when we are talking about forging paths forward for economic prosperity and regional stability. And one thing I need to highlight is the fact that some West Africans and even some Africans in general hold the view that ECOWAS is, an organization that is controlled indirectly by some Western powers, what the people like to call a puppet organization. So some of the people who have weighed in on this issue are of the opinion that ECOWAS is only acting based on the instructions that are being passed down to them by some Western powers in their own interest. Okay, so if ECOWAS invades Niger in military intervention, then that only confirms the fact that ECOWAS is acting based on the instructions of their puppet masters. And honestly, if the focus is really to forge a path for democracy and development, then peaceful negotiation should be the best alternative at this moment and not military interventions, except ECOWAS is going to confirm the allegations by some Nigerians or some Africans, some West Africans, that ECOWAS is actually a puppet organization acting based on the instructions of their puppet masters. But that's not a sentiment I hold personally. I believe that, ECOWAS would always act in the best interest of the sub-region. Okay, so that is it. And did I mention that in the wake of the coup, Nigeria actually reportedly cut power supply to Niger? Because in case you didn't know, Nigeria supplies Niger about the largest percentage of the power that Niger enjoys. And I find that ironic, isn't it? Because as a Nigerian, one of the things that we battle with the most is electricity power supply. There's hardly ever enough to go around for us, but then we are supplying it to Niger. Anyway, that's a good fit. And Nigeria has a reasonably good relationship with Niger. The past administration literally constructed what do you call it, railways to Niger to facilitate trade and movement and all of that. Even though I'm not sure how much trade volume Nigeria has with Niger, but yeah, just to show you the kind of relationship we've had over the years. So I believe that we should maintain that relationship and forge a path of peace and development instead of taking the path of violence or military intervention, which would only lead to unprecedented socio-economic and political implications for both countries and the Ecowas sub-region in general. So yeah, that is it. What do you guys think? Like I always say, thank you for the engagement on the previous videos, and drop your comments. I would like to know what you think and what your opinions are about this particular topic, and the fact that the military leaders of Guinea, of Burkina Faso, and Mali have pledged their military might and support to Niger in the event that ECOWAS takes any military actions in Niger. What do you guys think? Do you think the region is ready and should be towing this path of military violence and all of that at this point in our history? Drop a comment. I'd like to know. Okay, and if you've not subscribed, kindly click on that subscribe button and subscribe. When you do, tap on the bell and select all. That way you will always be the first to know when I post a new video or I do a live stream. And for those of you who've returned, thank you guys so much for always coming back. I love you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay safe, healthy, below abiding. I'm Virtue Grace, the African storyteller. Bye.